Hello everyone, this is Vivian Watkins with your week 3 response. Number 1 says, what are some of the major internal and external factors that influence governance structures at the community college? The external factors would include, but are not limited to, the federal, state, and local legislation and funds. These laws affect how community colleges can run and often limit them to what they can and cannot do because of laws and regulations, mandates that they put in place, or the amount of funding that they give and take away towards the community colleges. Then there's public scrutiny. The public, specifically the portion of the public that is connected to that community college or is directly affecting or affected by the community college, can have a great influence on the school financially and as far as policy is concerned. They can have a big influence in programming and academics depending on the needs and the request of the people within the community. Other competing institutions is also a big one that I noticed in the readings. For-profit organizations was pointed out, and I think that was just in there because they do offer certificates and associate's degrees that match or emulate what the community college would offer, but they do also go beyond that, which makes them a competitor and offer bachelor's degrees, even master's or PhDs. Distance education programs, online programs, are also external factor that influences the governance of community colleges. And then accreditation agencies, of course, across the board, everyone needs to go through accreditation agency, community colleges and universities a lot, to legitimize their organization and remain competitive. These agencies set and regulate academic and organizational standards for the community college, which is why it's an external factor that influences the governance structure. As far as the internal factors, the faculty and or student senate, or just the body that influences that, whether it's an individual person that represents or a group, a committee, would definitely have some influence. They have academic and social influence within the organization. Sometimes they have financial influence, or at least they can delegate which funds go where within the governance. Problems, of course, are they sometimes have ulterior or selfish motives within whoever represents for that particular organization or entity for the community college, meaning that faculty is often only worried about faculty, and the students often only see the small little picture or the influence that the students are going to have, versus somebody actually looking at the big picture. And of course, students just have a lack of interest with being in these type of committees or positions. The administration has a role in the type of governance they have, the organizational structure, etc. The board of trustees can have the same type of role, along with financial role giving, stuff like that. The student recruitment and retention is kind of a given. Of course, they're going to have a role in the governance, and faculty and student development, along with just the new innovations that come up within technology, within innovative teaching styles that happen to touch community colleges and education, the field of education as a whole. And then internal finances, how they manage their budget according to the needs of that particular community college, definitely would have be a factor within the governance structure of the community colleges. So number 2, what are some characteristics of effective and ineffective governance? Effective governance would be described as the quote, that would be the faculty and administration, all parties involved, really having a positive and open level of communication, along with trust established within the team. And having their individual roles defined, and just them as individuals being comfortable with those roles, so they are confident and competent within the organization. Also, effective governance has a well-established and diversified mission statement that is well understood by all parties involved. And ineffective governance is pretty much the opposite of this. Poor communication is definitely involved, or gaps of communication within the organization as a whole, undefined or unclear roles and responsibilities, a lack of assessment and lack of understanding or collaboration of the mission and vision is definitely also a factor of an ineffective governance. And number three, has anything changed as far as my perception of community college governance and administration as a result of the readings? Community colleges are more unique than I thought. They definitely vary per institution. And before, I kind of just, out of ignorance, categorize community colleges into one definition, but they do definitely differ. They vary per institution and the makeup of that and the core of that. I also didn't realize that community college had unions or had the option to have unions. Had no idea. I was aware that on the secondary level that there were teachers unions, but did not know that that was an influence at all within the governance. So that was very interesting. Sorry I went a little long. I'll do better on the videos next time. I hope you enjoyed it. I welcome any comments or concerns that you might have. Have a great week.